Good evening and welcome to the Sports Blitz episode number 39. I'm Doug. We have Robbie here. Robbie, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. I mean, basically, crazy times, great, crazy times, hectic times, sort of the same. I guess you can really just record what I used last episode for how I was doing and just sort of play for this one, too. So it's just kind of like, I feel it's like Groundhog Day, just going on a loop over and over and over again. Like,
That totally makes sense.
the day that ends a day, that's all I know.
Yeah, it totally makes sense, man. I totally get that because it seems like it's Groundhog Day, like every day.
Yeah.
Like Bill Murray, I'm waking up and it's the same thing every single day.
Exactly.
And I can't get out of it. I cannot get out of it.
No.
So if you haven't heard of us, we are the Sports Blitz. If you have come out of the cave or have
go
come
back.
out of the
Go back in.
Go back, crawl back under your rock because it's not safe to come out right now. But
you don't want to come out.
No, you don't want to come out right now. But we have some great topics that we're gonna discuss tonight.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump right into our first topic, and we're gonna really talk about the latest news that we're hearing because there's pretty much no sports going on except for golf.
UFC
is going on.
I will admit, for the first time like ever in my life, I did watch a little bit of the earlier UFC fights that they were showing one of the nights on ESPN. So I did tune in for about 5 seconds, and then I was like, yeah, forget this, and I tuned on to something else.
Yeah, so the issue...
I feel sorry for me, too. We're on the chat again, in case you...
We're on the chat. Yeah. So you're going to hear obscure words. You're going to hear all kinds of things, and it's going to get crazy.
And the pre-show is even worse. The pre-show is even worse. I said the dinosaur, Doug said watermelon.
I know. I was just testing to make sure the chat works.
Yeah.
So basically what it comes down to is that NASCAR is going to be this weekend, too. They're going to have like a billion people just watching NASCAR this weekend. By the way, that won't be me. So what I wanted to just what we Robbie and I kind of wanted to kind of throw out there is and I'm going to throw it out to you, and our first one is really going to be pretty hazy. All of this is pretty hazy right now because we don't know really what's going on. There's a lot of proposals out there, but the first one that I'd like to talk about is baseball. And I know that they've had some proposals out there. Robbie, what kind of proposals, what kind of things have you been hearing out there?
Yeah, so I mean, basically the latest is that the owners have approved a proposal that would start sort of a spring training part 2, if you want to call it that, June 10th, and then the season would start up on the weekend of July 4th, which how patriotic.
2025.
Yes, exactly. How patriotic baseball starting up July 4th, but that's beside the point. But right now, the owners are sort of talking to the players, and there's negotiations going on, and there's just a lot of rumors and sort of a lot of, well, the players really want this and the owners want this, blah, 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 blah. It sounds like, obviously the financial stuff especially is still a bit of a sticking point. So right now, basically, like I said, the owners have a proposal approved. Now they're trying to figure, sticky, like pine tar on a bat.
Hey, don't George Brett me right now.
Or I was more talking like Sammy Sosa, a little bit.
I was going with the George Brett because it was much more exciting.
I know, yeah.
Much more exciting seeing George Brett run out of the dugout and try to attack it up.
That was great.
It was great.
I wasn't even around. I wasn't even alive for that. I still.
Oh, Robbie, it was so great. It was so great. It was so great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
And it's baseball related, so.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Yeah.
No, like I said, just in summary, the owners have a proposal approved. Now it's just a question of, will the players approve it, and will we actually be getting back to to baseball.
Right.
I
So
don't have the
is
answer,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So is one. No, that's okay. And I didn't expect you to. I just want to know what you heard out there.
I don't have all the answers, Doug. I don't have all the answers.
What's the matter with you?
I
You
know.
don't have all the answers
I
today.
know.
What's going
I
on?
know. I usually know it all. I usually
Yeah, I
know it
know.
all.
Usually,
The cylinders just aren't firing. All right.
totally like with it today, and you're just not there, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
Again, man. Crazy times. Hashtag crazy times. That's
I
all
know.
good.
Hashtag crazy times. Wonderful. Let's just put that right on the, let's put that right on the email. Excellent. Put that right in with the Facebook. Okay. The Facebook, of course, I said. So one of the things I heard about, thanks. Hashtag crazy times is what he just wrote on the chat. So what I heard is I'm hearing that that baseball, a proposal that the owners have put together is that they're talking about a 50-50 split of money.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing. The second thing is that there's some kind of, I've heard some rumors about sequestering. They might go to Arizona, they might go to Florida, they might go to, somewhere where they can sequester. Now,
which by the way,
no,
just worth pointing out to your Florida point, the governor of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, came out and said that any professional sports team that wants to come to Florida, if their city won't let them play, is more than welcome there. According to him, and I quote, they will find a place for them in the state of Florida. So I just found that kind of interesting. Florida apparently is open for business when it comes to pro sports. They're even talking today about using the University of Florida for teams.
Yes, I actually did hear that, and he's actually pretty smart because he can get revenue down there, and that's what he needs for his state right now is revenue. So I totally get that, but there's probably not going to be any people in the stands. But still, anyway, so that was the first thing. The second thing that I heard was the fact that the players, and let's start talking about the players a little bit here. The players are pushing back a little bit.
Yeah.
The players are pushing back saying, wait a minute, 50-50 split? Hold on. Why do I have to play for less money or half of what I'm doing? Well, why should I do that? That's the first thing. Second thing is that players are not liking the fact that they may be away from their families. There are some prominent players that are actually saying, I do not want to be away from my family for 4 months. So there is some thought process that they're kind of going to be butting heads a little bit. So what are your thoughts about that, Robbie? Do you think they're going to be butting heads enough where it's just going to be delayed more, or do you think they'll come up with something that'll help them out?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I hope that they come up with something. Because I mean, the average Joes out there, really want baseball back, and they need, they want live sports back, to try to sort of take their mind off things. And it's interesting because I heard a segment on the radio today about how in the past 50-50 has actually been what the players have sort of been pushing for in the past. Now, obviously, there's different circumstances and stuff like that going on right now, where 50-50 may not be as appealing. But the other argument the players are making is that, what if the owners, use this against us in future negotiations? Well, guess what? There's not going to be a pandemic going on in future negotiations. So, I mean, I think the players are kind of like, I don't know. It's tough because on one hand, I understand, the players, they want to make their money. They've got families to feed and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't know. It's it's tough. I really don't know what to say about it, because the fan of me is like, oh, you gotta stop complaining. You're millionaires. You're griping over maybe a couple $1 million. Look at what's happening in this country, and then it sort of comes off as a bit tone deaf. And then you've got the other side of me is like, well, I mean, they are kind of putting themselves at risk somewhat. I mean, obviously, MLB is going to take as many safety precautions as they can. Like you said, no fans in the stands, stuff like that. And it was interesting. I know this is something we had talked about off air. Blake Snell, who I think he pitches for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he pitches for Tampa Bay. I
Yes.
guess he was doing some live broadcast the other night and was asked by a fan about the pay. Basically said that he, is not going to play if he's not going to get his full salary. He wants his money, and that's that. And to me, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, there are people who are, have lost their jobs, aren't getting any money. We have the highest unemployment, in years and decades, in this
36
country.
million plus people.
And
are now unemployed.
you're complaining about maybe making a couple $1,000,000 less or something like that. Like, give me a break. Like, the players are not getting sympathy from the, everyday fans who understand, there's health risks, but at the same time, the fact that they're griping over how much money they're going to make, people look at it as just like, it's just complete tone deafness. And
but Robbie, we discussed this earlier too. Is that 2 months ago, he was also doing some live broadcast. And he was like, "Oh, COVID, it's not real. They're pushing it out of, they're making a big deal out of it. I don't care if I get it. It's not a big deal."
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's got this big, huge turnaround when he finds out that he's not going to get his full salary. All of a sudden, he puts his turnaround together. And how does that make the guy down the street who's unemployed or the small businesses who are losing their jobs? How does that make them feel?
Yeah.
It makes them feel like, that they're not worth anything. So,
right.
And again, this is not a political show; it's a sports show. But it's one of those things where I think it needs to be said because, some of these guys are taking it outer limits where it should not be. It should not be said at all, and I think he's certainly wrong. He's just a dummy.
I think honestly, both sides in this, the players and the owners are coming off as tone deaf because you're the owners who go like, oh, we're gonna lose all this revenue and stuff like that. It's like, you are literally people that may have made billions of dollars, and you're really get it. It sort of just goes back to, your next door neighbor lost his job. He's got to feed 3 kids and, his entire family on unemployment. And you're complaining about the fact that you might lose a few $1 million this year when you've made billions, so far in your life. It just, it's hard to feel sympathy for either side in this. It really.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. No,
it's just it's really just it's a bad look, not just for him, but it's a bad look for baseball. I think
it's petty. It's petty, is what it is.
Yeah.
It is really. I mean, that's the word that I think best describes it. It is pettiness to the highest degree from these players and these owners. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the critics that say that these guys are prima donnas, and it's coming out now.
Some of them are. I don't want to loop every single player, every single owner into this.
No.
I mean, there's some really good ones out there, obviously. I don't think.
And listen, Robbie, we're not advocating that they should go back and just play baseball without protocols and without being safe and stuff like that. We're not doing that. We're not advocating that. But
I will say this. It has worked. Going back and playing with safety protocols has worked. I understand it's a smaller country, but if you look at South Korea and Taiwan, these leagues that have restarted, they've been having success with this. And they're playing with no fans, and the umpires are wearing masks, and some of the players as well. It is doable, I feel like, because it's been done by the other leagues. Yes, the situations in terms of numbers and things like that are different, but if you do it the right way, it has a lot of great potential to, especially, to just help soothe the fans. Thank you. Nice hands. Um, yeah, to sue, the fans in this country that they need something. We're hurting. We're hurting here. I mean, and yes, you have, and I know we'll bring this up later. You have, these replays of past games and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
people want something, just some sense of normalcy. They could turn on their TV at 7 o'clock on a Thursday night and see the Red Sox player, whoever team you root for, whatever the
Right.
case
So,
may
so
be.
the other question I have for you, Robbie, is that the protocols have to include the fact that what happens if a player, an umpire,
Yeah.
manager, the manager of the Red Sox is not a young guy. So it's one of those things where it seems to be hitting people at a certain age a little harder than most. But what happens if a player comes down with the virus? What happens if two players come down? Do we take those players out and then we quarantine them for 14 days, or and
I
then we
think,
got to test the whole team? It's all about testing
yeah,
and that kind of
I
thing.
I
So,
think I think if you have consistent testing, which is what they're aiming for, their ideal world would be to do daily testing of all the players and staff and all that. If that is possible, I think it could work. Yes. If someone is unlucky enough to test positive, then you take them out of the equation, quarantine them for kind of like an injury. You got to put them on the 14-day quarantine list.
right,
Uh,
right.
um, and I
As in
think,
hockey, it's an upper body injury.
yes,
They don't call it anything else. It's just upper
yeah,
body.
yeah, it's upper body, not
That
lower
it's an
body.
it's an infection in
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's a virus in here.
yeah.
Upper body.
Um, a non-healthy scratch, something like
Right,
that.
right.
Um,
COVID scratch. It's a
yeah,
COVID scratch.
yeah. But again, I think it seems like there are ways to do this, and in other countries they're making it work. So, again, why why not here? I mean, and I think obviously they have to sort of iron out the financial and the logistics and stuff like that first. But I think yes, hashtag COVID scratch. Um, yeah, I think it's very true. I think there may we hope that there's not any more cases of players if they do come back. But if there is, I think you know I just feel like there's got to be ways to deal with it so that it doesn't just upend the games already right away and
Right.
so I mean I don't
Right.
know.
I know.
This is
I
a
know.
bigger this is a
Yeah.
decision that is made by bigger people than you and I,
No,
so
of course, of course. But I know we're just
yeah,
talking about the sports
yeah,
angle to it. The
right,
political angle is totally different, and we're not
right,
going there. Well, we're certainly not going there on that kind of thing. But the other aspect is that some of the infectious disease specialists have said that if you at least early on they said that if one or two or three people get it, you got to shut down the whole thing because you're talking about, and is the other team, say it's the Red Sox playing the Tigers, say three Tigers come down with the virus, and there's testing, but are those Red Sox players going to want to play the Tigers now? Because they may have that close contact at second base, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, are they going to want to? So there's lots of different things
yeah.
that they have to start thinking about when it comes to protocols and trying to figure out how they could do it. Are they going to play with masks on?
And that's why that's why I
I don't
feel
know.
like you might, daily testing, might need to be sort of the goal because,
Yeah,
if you know that the guy that day that you're going up against is tested negative, that might make you a little bit feel more at ease as opposed to, the last test was 5 days ago and a lot could change in 5 days
yeah.
and
But
you
the
really
issue
don't
is
know.
that a person can test. This is the issue, Robbie, and this is what people are kind of. Some people are understanding this, and some people aren't. The experts. I'm talking about experts, the people that are infectious disease people, and that's all I'm quoting. those particular people are saying that you could be tested negative one day, Monday, and then Tuesday, because you came in contact with somebody
I
else.
know. That's
You
what
can, yeah, you can
I
have it.
know.
You could actually come in, but you have to figure out, are you going to test every day? How many
Right.
tests are there? I mean, that's a lot of tests for a lot of people.
Test every half inning.
Every half an inning, right? Oh, wait a minute. You have to come out half an inning. The baseball game would last like 8 hours, probably. It would be like, it would be crazy. It'd be like, okay, excuse me, left fielder, can you move over to the right field? And we're gonna go.
We're down.
Stop. You tested positive, so you
We're
gotta
down
come
to
out.
three. We're down to three players.
Down to 3 players. Everybody. Well, we have a pitcher, a first and second baseman, and a third baseman.
We actually
and
don't have a
outfield.
catcher. We don't have a catcher at the moment.
No catcher. No, the ump has to be the catcher.
Yeah. Oh wait, the ump just tested positive. Okay.
Oh, forget it. He's out.
I guess we're gonna have to have robot umpires, folks.
That's right. So again, I think we're just joking around, but I think, and you have to, because it's one of those things you have to. But I think what it comes down to is that they have to really sit down and have an actual plan and a thought process of what kind of protocols they're going to use, and the testing and the masks and everything that they need to do to make sure that they're all safe.
Right.
Believe me, I want anything back. It doesn't matter what it is. I care less, except for NASCAR. I won't watch NASCAR. But anything, any sports related kind of thing.
Will you watch golf?
Great to come back.
Golf is coming back. Will you watch golf?
I can't, man. It's like watching paint dry. It really is.
Yeah, I agree.
Now listen.
Because there's nothing else.
If it's big, if it's got Tiger, and if it's got, what's his name, and the other guy,
Phil.
Yeah, Phil. If it's got Phil.
Hey, you know what? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, and Phil Mickelson is coming up.
Okay, I would watch that.
Yeah,
just because I think it'll be interesting. It's like a little challenge there, so I would watch that. So the next sport we're going to talk about, we haven't heard a lot about. I just know a few things about it, and we're going to be talking about not even 2 minutes on this particular sport. The next sport we have is hockey.
I'm going to time us. See if we actually have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to go very long because there's not a lot out there, except for the fact that they have decided to bring everybody that's overseas back and to quarantine for a little while just so they can come back. But that's really all I've heard. I haven't heard about any of, unless you've heard of something different.
All I know is that Gary Bettman said, I think it was yesterday or so, yesterday that basically he is not even considered canceling the season. So I mean, there is that.
No, he's going to play. He's going to play himself.
Yeah. There is that glimmer of hope.
Yes.
Obviously, but at the same time, again, with all this sports, I mean, I don't think anybody really knows. I think the one to watch for, honestly, given what we've heard the last couple of days, and I don't want to jump ahead too quickly here, is basketball.
You just jumped ahead because I just wrote football next.
I know, as I was saying it. But, well, you know what? I'm calling it audible here because
Wait, hold on. I got to send it to play. Hold on.
Deuce Wright, 26.
Okay, all right.
26, Omaha.
Okay, we did the audible.
No, because basketball, Adam Silver, this came out, I think it was yesterday as well, basically said that he's looking to make a decision about which way it's going to go for the next 2 to 4 weeks. So, basically, if that's to be believed, within the next month, at least for basketball, we're going to get an idea of, are they going to come back, and if so, sort of when and how. So
yes, well, the other issue with hockey is that they need to have a little small training camp. They have not skated in a couple months. Some of the guys maybe have, been able to, maybe roller skate or do something, keep in shape or whatever, but they haven't skated. So they have to come back and they have to have a mini camp before they start. So
basketball too. Basketball too, yeah. And basketball facilities, some of them did start to reopen this past within the last week or so, with sort of small, make me. That's what I have to say to that. Make me. You just want me to get off my phone. Make me. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. But basketball, they've started
what
to
are you
open up
saying?
their facilities for sort of small groups to come in and work out. So I mean, that could be a step in the right direction.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I totally get that. Now we can get your half audible, I guess.
Hey, it was a perfect segue. Audible is a perfect segue to the next sport we're going to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead. What is it? Since you're so smart tonight, Mr. Smarty.
Football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really talk about basketball that much. Well, we did a little.
Yeah, it is really. That was one news piece.
So it's interesting. When I found out about basketball today and this is just a little tidbit, and then we'll get to football. What I found out today is that LeBron James and Steph Curry have actually been paid their full amount of pay.
Yeah.
And actually starting in like September, when they start back again or whenever they start back again, they're going to have to give money back. They're going to have to give like $4,000 back like every single game because they got their full pay and they have to kind of pay it out or something like that. It was some weird thing that went on.
That is weird.
Yeah, they actually have to start paying it back, which is really kind of strange. So it's not so good to get your full pay all the time.
Yeah.
Got it. So the next we're going to talk about is football.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Robbie. The ball's in your court.
Well, I mean, right now there's not a whole lot to report on football. I know they're sort of extending their virtual off season, but yeah, really, I mean, the NFL is, pretty determined, it sounds like, at least, that they're going to start the season on time. Now, whether or not that's actually going to happen or not, again, remains to be seen.
They're actually the only sport that has time.
Yeah, exactly. They're in their off season, so right now
they do have time right now.
Right now, they're, they have the ability to sort of use that time to sort of figure out how they're gonna do this. Whereas the other sports, they're in season, just on suspended season. So it's kind of, I think unfortunately it's kind of a different story between football and the other three sports right now. So.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense too. I haven't heard too much about it except for the fact that, I mean, that they're kind of in the loop. But again, they don't have to worry about stuff for a little while anyway. Right. So maybe training camp a little bit, but they not even there yet. So one of those things where football definitely is probably why we haven't heard a lot is because they do have some time to be able to you said season like 40 times. So yeah, that's basically what's going on with football. But it is what it is. But yeah, so any final thoughts on this whole, the latest and the possible openings? You just want things to open.
It all sucks.
I know I do too.
It all sucks. It all sucks. I want my sports back. I'm tired. Again, Groundhog Day. Yeah, it all sucks. It really does. I mean, I would literally watch competitive wiffle ball at this point. I'm that craved for sport.
Is that professional or amateur? Or do you not care?
I don't even care at this point.
I don't care. I would watch women's lacrosse right now.
I watch T-ball at this point. I'll take anything.
Hey, Robbie, I would take a great G-ball game right now.
Yes.
Camp Rivers G-ball game.
Yes,
Seneca's versus the Crows, right?
Yeah.
Do it.
That
would be awesome. That'd be so awesome.
With the old dodgeballs too, not
Oh
the
yeah.
not the foam ones that we used, towards the end
No,
of our
no,
camp
no, no,
experience,
no,
like
no. The old
the
white
old white
dodgeball.
ones. Yes,
White ones you can really
those things
kick.
would leave marks.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
things would leave
yeah, because we play
big
bombardment with them.
red. Yeah.
So
Oh
yes.
yeah. We would play. I mean, we would play counter versus kid bombardment. I love how we just have got off onto a tangent of camp memories here, but
You know what?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? We're gonna have an old episode, and I'm not telling you what it is. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna mention it on the. Don't mention it because I'm gonna mention it on the chat. We're gonna have a whole episode about something.
Oh, I thought.
I'll tell you.
Oh, you said whole episode. I thought you said old episode. I'm like, wait, that doesn't
No.
make any sense. But no, I got you.
So
Good
so we're gonna
memory.
move on. We're gonna move on to our next topic, and our
Right.
next topic is well, it's the Michael Jordan special, which is called Last
The
Dance,
Last
and it was
Dance.
supposed to be done in. I was supposed to be put out in June. They decided to push it up, which is really great because it's been fabulous. I've been taping 2
Yeah.
episodes a week every Sunday, and it's been really great. I've tried to watch. I'm a little behind, but I've been trying to watch as much as I can.
You're always behind, so it's okay.
Thanks. Yeah, you suck too. Um, wow. Okay.
I think this whole quarantine or whatever has really gotten to us. So
Yeah, I think it's gotten to you more. But anyway,
yeah.
so I think
Probably has.
I think it has. So
I haven't left this room in months, folks. I need
I know.
help.
I know. He's living under his desk. So I wanted he's going under his desk right now, folks. Unbelievable. He's going under his desk. There he is. Oh my God.
I love the fact people that are listening to the audio only of this or have no idea what's going on. You gotta watch the video on YouTube.
You have to watch the video. Just watch the video. The video is funnier than the audio, believe me. So with the Michael Jordan special called Last Dance, wanted to ask you, so what do you think so far about the documentary?
I like it. I'll be honest, I've watched bits and pieces of it, live, and then I've watched clips online, and I've listened, I've sort of looked at what other people have been saying and stuff like that. And I feel like it's very interesting to really get this in-depth look at the events that you sort of you've heard about, related to Michael Jordan and those Bulls teams and just sort of Jordan's retirement and then coming back and all that stuff. So sort of see how it went down from sort of an insider's, behind the scenes perspective. I think the thing to me that's very interesting is, and I know we were talking about this before we came on air, is the colorful language. I mean, they really have not held back at all. And actually, ESPN, again, I know we're talking about this, sort of split up the coverage. So on ESPN, on plain ESPN, they actually have been doing the episodes with no censorship. They basically have been airing the swears
That's correct.
in their entirety, whereas on ESPN2, they've been bleeping them out. And so it's been very interesting to just see, like, how these players just sort of talk to each other and how they just sort of, the language they used in general. I mean, Michael Jordan called one of his teammates in the last episode, called them I don't really want to say the word, but basically called him a word that also describes a gardening tool.
Okay,
yeah.
Is it an H? Starts with an H?
Yeah, it starts with an H. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all you had to do was start it with an H and do a gardening tool. I know what it is.
Yeah. I just for all the ladies that are out there listening to us right now.
Was that Kukoc that he said that to?
No, he said it to some rookie.
Oh, okay.
Guy that he was like matched up against in practice, and he was kind of like trying to like motivate him, sort of in his own
Yeah, MJ
MJY.
style.
And yeah, so he used that word to, sort of describe him, sort of try to in his own way motivate him, which I thought was really, really interesting. It definitely is like, it definitely sort of really showed, given an in-depth look into Michael Jordan, just like, the type of player that he was. And again, just rumors that you, again, have just heard, in the news and over the years sort of coming to light, sort of getting the full story. I know the one that really stood out for me that I was really interested in sort of listening to them discuss that they did was this whole conspiracy theory that Jordan's retirement was actually a secret suspension for gambling, and David Stern and Michael Jordan basically squashed all that, at least on the record in that episode, basically saying it wasn't true. It was Michael's decision to retire. And nothing to do with gambling or anything like that. So they did not hold back when it came to these varying topics.
Yeah, I personally think about the documentary itself. I am amazed at the amount of access
Yeah.
these guys actually had, especially in that time, that era, that these guys were not only just brought into the locker room, but they were brought in on all kinds of different situations. Michael Jordan loves to gamble, and he was gambling with the security team in a small room right off of the locker room.
Right.
And they were throwing these little coins, and they had to get as close as they could to the wall as possible. And they showed this whole scene. It was unbelievable how much access that this film crew got.
Right.
That we probably never knew about, because obviously they haven't put it out until today. It took them quite a long time to kind of put everything together into these episodes. But just incredible access to him hanging out in a hotel. And because he couldn't go anywhere, because as soon as he walks out his hotel room, there's people standing there. There's people in the lobby. There's people. He goes to the bus to try to just get to the arena, and he's mobbed most of the time. And he sat there. He was laying down. I thought it was really interesting. He was laying there, and he was like he had a drink in his hand. He was smoking a cigar, and he said, "I'm so glad just to be in here alone." And he said, I really wouldn't wish this on anybody. This is, it's time. It's time to leave this life and go somewhere else and do something different. Although he's still a popular character, obviously, but in those times, he couldn't go to the grocery store. He couldn't go out and take a walk. I mean, he couldn't do any of that stuff. But it's interesting how he embraced it when he was in it. In other words, when he went down, he signed autographs. There was one scene in the locker room where one of the security guards' daughter was having a birthday, and she came up to him, and he signed a basketball and a couple other things, and took a picture. And as they were taking a picture, he was saying to her, he said, "Hey, have a great birthday. How old are you?" I mean, he was just doing that. And this was after a game, Robbie. This was after he scored like 40 points in a game, and he has to be on again. But when he was in the hotel room, he didn't have to be Michael Jordan, the basketball player. It was just Michael Jordan. So it's just interesting, the access. I thought it was awesome, the access. And I love these documentaries anyway. I love documentaries, but especially sports. But the amount of access that these guys had to him and the team and all the upper people, the upper management was just unprecedented, I think. Just incredible.
Exactly.
Thought it was fabulous. What did you think out of the stuff that you've seen? What what interesting stuff, except for the stuff that you just mentioned, if you could think about anything, what interesting things were brought up in your mind that you thought were not just interesting, but kind of maybe important to the documentary itself?
I think the other thing that was interesting is sort of, looking at, Scottie Pippen and sort of just his role on the his sort of role, how his role sort of transpired, obviously when Jordan was there, and then when Jordan retired, how sort of Scotty sort of stepped into the limelight there. And just
there was also sorry, Robbie. I didn't mean to interrupt, but there was some issues with Scottie Pippen also, where he basically grew up really poor, and he took a contract he took a second contract. His first one was obviously more of a rookie contract that lasted a couple to a few years, but his second contract, they didn't really want to pay him as much, because he was good, but he wasn't the Scottie Pippen that we really know of today. But he was nervous about not taking whatever they were going to give him. He was taking care of his family. So he was so nervous. He even brought it up in the documentary. He was so nervous about taking. He didn't want to push the more money thing because he was nervous that they were going to just end it. He was just going to they were going to just fly him off the team or whatever. I just thought that was really interesting about Scottie Pippen and how he, how there was some issue there that he had with the team itself and the management.
Yeah, and to that point, just also, I think the thing is sort of how they sort of looked at, the other players. I mean, Dennis Rodman especially. I mean, we all know what a character Dennis Rodman is. Sort of looking at Dennis Rodman, during that time in his sort of transformation as a player, as a person, really. Steve Kerr, sort of these guys that, again, just sort of seeing the yes, hashtag crazy hair. You just sort of see, to be able to see, like you said, to the behind the scenes access that you get and are getting through this documentary is just really opening your eyes to just basically, it feels like almost you were a part of it. It almost feels like, you really were that you were there while it was going on and really experienced it with them. So it's quite something. It's been quite the series. I know it's wrapping up this Sunday with the.
Yeah, I got to tape the last two. I'm a little behind, but I got to tape the last two. Wanted to ask you, I think this is a really, really interesting question. Is does the show, does the documentary itself, does that make you think differently about Magic? Right? Sure, Magic Johnson. Does it make you think differently about Magic Johnson?
Maybe.
As opposed to
maybe. I mean,
Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, MJ. See, I get my MJs mixed up sometimes. Like hashtag Michael Jackson. Hashtag Michael Jordan.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about
another MJs. We could do a whole show on MJs.
Yeah.
What do you think? Does it make you think any differently about Michael Jordan? There we go.
Yeah. There you go. No. I mean, I think just hearing, obviously I wasn't sort of in my prime of my sports fandom when, Michael was really doing his thing. So it's kind of like I didn't really, remember him playing. The funny thing is I remember more of him playing for the Wizards at the very sort of his sort of comeback part 3, so to speak, than I do anything else. But for me, just again, the things that you hear over the years and the tape that you see, I mean, it really doesn't change my perspective because, I mean, it shows how truly a great basketball player he was. Yes, I am a youngster. Thank you. It shows what truly a great basketball player he was. It shows how, he truly cared about family. The scene, again, I don't want to, there's a scene that, sort of deals with, the death of his father and sort of.
I haven't seen that yet, so don't tell me anything.
No, I'm not gonna give it away, but obviously, and everybody knows that his dad died.
Yes, his dad was murdered. His dad was murdered, actually.
I know. and that's what really caused him to leave the game the first time
Right.
around, and pursue baseball sort of out of sort of honor of his father, remembrance of his father, so to speak. And again, I think it really reiterates for me what I already knew about him, and some of the stories that you've heard, and maybe even clears up some of the things like the gambling and the secret suspension conspiracy, if you even entertained that notion at all. But yeah, I mean, it really doesn't. I still think he's one of the greatest basketball player of all time. Again, I mean, that's a debate that's been raging on as long as as for a long time now, between him and all these other guys, LeBron in particular. So obviously everybody's entitled to their own opinion when it comes to that, but to answer your question, it really doesn't change how I look at Michael one bit, to be honest.
No, that definitely makes sense. I think in
this is an opinion show.
I know.
Your opinion boy. This is an opinion show.
I know.
That's why we don't get paid to do this.
Yes, I realized that.
Blake Snell wants his money. Where's my money? Where's my money? I want somebody from having to put up with you for an hour and a half once a week.
Hashtag hostility. Hashtag wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
hashtag no holds barred tonight.
So you're definitely off the rails there, buddy.
Again, what else is new?
But it's okay. It's okay. But it's okay. It's all right.
We're just having a hashtag battle in the chat right now, folks.
That's right.
Hashtag rubber walls.
You're in a rubber room. Okay.
Yeah.
So what basically in my thoughts are is that I watched him play. I loved his game, but I hated him. I hated him just like I hated Isaiah Thomas, just like I hated Magic Johnson. Did I respect their games? Yeah, big time.
What about LeBron? What about LeBron?
LeBron, I put him under those guys, but I do put him. I think he's a great player. The issue I have with LeBron is
no, but I mean, is it the same category in terms of like respecting his game but hating, hating him?
Yes, absolutely. I don't hate him. I don't have them.
It
was a rival. It was a rival.
Yeah.
It was a rival. It's a rivalry hate, not a hate like a personal hate.
No. Hate is I get hate as a player is what I really.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, especially Magic Johnson and Kareem, and I watched those.
Kobe. I mean, rest in peace.
I mean, I watched. Absolutely. But I watched these. I grew up in the Larry Bird era, so I know what it's like to win a couple of championships, but I also know what it's like to not. And to have those rivals and stuff like that. So when I look at MJ and I see this documentary and I say to myself, wow, we're really going through a lot of stuff I never even thought about.
Yeah.
But when we first saw him play, I was like, this guy, it was like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. As soon as they got out of college, they played each other for the championship, the championship, and they went on to Magic Johnson obviously won that. But they went on to pro, and then it was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And that's what it was. Celtics against Lakers. That's what it was. As soon as Michael Jordan came in, he was next. He was next up.
Yeah.
He was next up, and he proved it, and he did it. And again, it doesn't. I don't really care if he bet on. I would care a little bit if he bet on his own games. I don't think he did that. Like, he's not a Pete Rose guy, I don't think. But if he bet, as long as he did it within the rules and within the law, I really don't care what he bet on. I just loved watching the guy play. That's what it comes down to. The difference, and I'm going to tell you right now, Robbie, the difference between, I'm putting it right out there, the difference between LeBron and Michael Jordan. Ready?
Ready.
Michael Jordan played offense and defense really, really well. LeBron is an offensive player, okay? Not too bad on the defense, but not so great on the defense. Not like Michael Jordan defense. Also, I'm just telling you. That's why I think Michael Jordan is on a higher plane than LeBron.
I completely agree with you.
And again, my opinion.
My other thing is the one stat that I keep coming back to is that if you're going to be the greatest player of all time, you need to perform like it when it's at the highest level. And so I look at the stat single-handedly, and again, this isn't the only stat that I'm making my argument, but the biggest stat for me is Michael Jordan, undefeated in the finals. LeBron James, losing record in the finals.
Right.
If you're going to be the greatest player of all time, you don't have a losing record in the finals. Period. End of story. And I've gotten into debate, and the funny thing is, I've gotten into debates with people, with other friends of mine, about the whole LeBron versus MJ argument, and I have friends who think that LeBron is the greatest of all time, and yet the funny thing is that, and again, I know this is two different sports, but just sort of there's a bigger point here. They make the argument that Tom Brady, yes, I do have friends. You're not on that list, at least at this moment. Oh, no.
Oh, snap.
Oh. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. But get some aloe, man. Get some aloe for that bird.
Hashtag bird.
Yeah.
That one sizzled, man. Yeah. Oh.
No, but it's kind of interesting that that I have one friend in particular, not you, not saying you're not a friend, but not you that I'm having this debate with, who says that LeBron is better than Michael, but then on the flip side makes the argument that Tom Brady is not the greatest quarterback of all time. And yet, the thing I keep coming back to is that if you're going to argue that one guy who had a losing record, if you're going to make the argument for Brady that the 3 losses in the Super Bowls somehow hurts his standing as the greatest quarterback of all time, you can't then argue a guy who had a losing record in the NBA Finals is the greatest basketball player of all time. It doesn't make sense to me. So again, that's just a side debate that I've been having. Really had nothing to do with this, but yeah,
it did, because it's Michael Jordan versus LeBron, and we're talking about it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that, again, Michael Jordan, 6-0 in the NBA Finals, never lost a final series. So that for me, right there, above. Yeah.
He also, Robbie, had some really great players that he played with.
LeBron has quit. LeBron has quit in playoff series. Yeah. That series
but even beside the rivalry between LeBron and MJ, it's MJ had some really solid players.
Oh yeah,
really some solid players that he played with. So it totally makes sense. And I'm not saying LeBron didn't at times, but I think what it comes down to is that really had some. It was MJ, but it was MJ plus. It was MJ plus Steve Kerr hitting threes. John Paxson hitting threes. Bill Cartwright under the hoop there. Luke Longley under the hoop, center. These guys,
Tony Kukoc.
All these, Dennis Rodman, the number 1 rebounder in the league at the time, and I don't think anybody's going to get to that record, the amount of rebounds he ever had. So just incredible players that actually played with him, and it makes sense that he won all those championships. And I'm not putting down MJ. I'm just saying that you have to have those players surrounding him.
Of course.
Look at the Celtics from 2008, 2007, 2008. Look at the people that were surrounded, not just the big three, but other guys that Eddie House and these other players that did a great job.
I agree with you, but I think I don't know if you necessarily. I mean, that sort of begs the question to sort of look at the point that you're making, which I completely agree with. By the way, do the Bulls win all those titles if they don't have Michael Jordan?
My answer to the question is no.
Yeah. So, I mean, and obviously,
no.
Yes, he had a great cast of supporting characters. Completely agree with that. But Jordan's talent,
yeah.
And I mean, because if you take Jordan off those teams, they're not winning 6 NBA titles. I'm sorry, they're just not.
Let's do it in '85 and '86 with Larry Bird, and '84 and Larry Bird, and '81
Let's do it recently with LeBron. You take him off those Miami Heat teams. They're not winning those titles with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
No.
The Cavs aren't winning that title with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving.
No way.
Come on now.
No way. It's not happening. So it makes sense, but that's a great thought process on that, and the argument is opinion, and it goes back and forth, and I think we've definitely gotten to the point where it's we've figured out that of course you need some kind of superstar, and I don't think MJ would have. I don't think the Bulls would have won without him, and I think that's something that's just remarkable.
Yeah,
on what he was able to accomplish in that period of time. Any other thoughts on the documentary? Because I'm
looking forward to Sunday. I'm sure I'll be tuning in at least for some way.
Yeah, if I got to catch up, and I'm going to try to catch up over the weekend.
The last 2 parts, so hopefully they saved the best for last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So we're actually going to go to our next segment, and our next segment is kind of an interesting topic. Is kind of a question that Robbie and I that I'm throwing out to Robbie here tonight. It's kind of it kind of made us think a little bit here and there. Throwaway?
No, throw away. You said you were throwing it out.
Throw it away. Throw it out there.
No, you said you were throwing it out to me. So throw away.
Okay, I'm throwing it away, Robbie.
No, not that. Not that type of throw away.
I know what you mean. Wow, you're very, very, very harsh tonight, dude.
Must be the lights.
I don't think it's the lights, man. I don't think it's the light. That's much better. Can you turn the lights off? It's a much better situation. You turn the lights off. That's good. That's much better. So we're gonna try to come up with, and we've come up with a few of them. We're gonna come. Wow. Listen, if you came out of your rock or out of the cave right now, it's time.
Go back.
Really time to go back right now.
Yeah.
Because Robbie's off his rocker right now. So the topic is you are sitting in a chair, Robbie. It's okay. It's okay. You're sitting in a chair. What sports athlete or coach could have had a better ending here or anywhere in sports? So the first thing I brought up was somebody like Tony C here, Tony Cogliaro. He unfortunately got a pitch to the head. It was actually in his eye, but it was also affected his head, obviously, because the eye is connected. So I guess he was really never the same after that, and that was a terrible ending to somebody who had a really bright career. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. But wanted to kind of throw it out to you, Robbie, and I could name some right now, but I wanted to kind of throw it out to you. Which athlete or coaches do you think could have had a better ending here?
There's a couple that come to mind on the coaches front. Terry Francona is one that come to mind. I know you and I have discussed. Obviously, the way 2011 ended was definitely a lot of frustration and a lot of chicken and beer and choking away a a big lead at the wild card. don't even like to think about it because it makes me so mad.
Yeah, we really do not want to. We don't want to rock Robbie too much here because
Rock me.
he's already off the rails a little bit. We do not want him to derail
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. The other one, and this is going to be kind of an interesting one. I wanted to get your take on this because I'm not. It's sort of one that I am sort of debating back and forth in my head. And that is Bill Parcells, or even like
Yes.
Bill Parcells, or like even a Pete Carroll. Who Pete Carroll not so. Pete Carroll not so much because he, he wasn't so. I think Parcells is more than Carroll. Yeah, the more I think about it, I think Parcells is more than Carroll because Parcells, I feel like, had the potential, just had the potential, knowing him as a coach, to do greater things here. And then he had that whole, shopping for groceries line that he dropped at a press conference on his way out of here or whatever the case may be. But I think Parcells maybe could have done more here. I think, his sort of ending here was very disappointing, very bitter, between him and Bob Kraft. And Francona, like I said, comes to mind. I'm trying to think. It's tough. It's tough to sort of think about which way to go here. Again, another guy.
You don't have to do baseball. It could be any sport.
Another guy that came to mind, baseball wise, was Matt Clement, who he got hit and never was really the same pitcher after that. Again, you don't know what could have been if that hadn't happened. Yeah, it's Oh, you know what? One that just came to mind, and I bring this name up because I watched his documentary a couple of times. I actually heard him speak in person, sort of going back a little bit, was Chris Herron of the Celtics. Obviously, those of you who don't know the Chris Herron story, local guy, Fall River, Durfee High School, high school standout, went to Boston College, got into trouble with drugs there, went to Fresno State, had an amazing career at Fresno State, drafted in the NBA, came to Boston, and unfortunately, his demons in terms of drugs and alcohol.
I've seen that documentary too. It's really
never.
good.
Yeah. And the nice thing is I got to hear him speak actually a couple times in person back in college, and he really has used his struggles in his past and turned it into good. And I really appreciate what he's been doing with sort of taking his story and using it to motivate others to to really get their life back on track. And I think that's a great thing, and the fact that he's been able to stay sober and all of that. But you just don't know without the drugs, what could have been with him here as a member of the Celtics. Again, hometown team, and even at Boston College, the fact that he unfortunately had to leave school because of his issues and ended up going to Fresno State for the late coach Jerry Tarkanian.
The shark.
Yeah.
The towel.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another one.
Well, if you want me to, you could
take
a minute. I could.
Yeah, why don't you?
I thought we were going to go back and forth anyway, but that's okay.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, because I'm kind of my well is running dry at the moment. So you go right. Have some of your thoughts.
That actually sounds like a personal problem, Robbie. You all right?
Always.
Okay.
Never.
So in the world of basketball, this may be a little before your time, but not too much. At least one of them is I could think of two players.
Yeah.
Two players that were actually going to be on the Celtics that would take over for Larry Bird. One was Len Bias.
Yeah, I was just about.
Who passed away the day after he was drafted of a cocaine overdose. From Maryland, great Maryland career, unbelievable. I don't know how Red Auerbach was able to get him because we were doing actually pretty well at that time. So I don't know how we were able to do that, pull that off, but that's Red Auerbach for you. The other is Reggie Lewis. And Reggie Lewis also had a heart defect and untimely death. And can you imagine, just imagine this. You have Bird and you have, possibly maybe Bird and McHale, maybe even Parrish kind of retiring. As they retire, you have Len Bias and Reggie Lewis taking over.
Wow.
I can't even imagine how many championships we would have won with both of them, plus whoever else we would have gotten into the mix. And again, unfortunately, I mean, it's
tragic.
It's tragic. It is tragic, and it's horrible situation. But if anything, you kind of learn by it, and you learn from it. And what they're doing now is incredibly is that they're able to actually repair a lot of the. Rich Peverley is another person that actually had some of the same kinds of things heart-wise. He had a heart defect. Rich Peverley was on the Bruins, but when he wasn't on the Bruins, I can't remember what the team was. I'm not sure about the team. I'm sorry to say I want to say it's Vancouver, but I don't think it is. But anyway, he was on the bench and he collapsed. And they actually had to do CPR and actually got his heart going again and actually had surgery. And he's not playing hockey anymore, unfortunately. So I guess that's a timely ending to hockey, but he's alive. And if they had this kind of Reggie got this surgery, he might be alive today. He might not have been playing basketball, but he at least would have been okay. So those are two that I can definitely think about.
Dallas.
Did he play for Dallas?
Dallas.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dallas.
Yeah, it's Dallas. Let's see who else. I have a couple others on my radar screen. How about Dustin Pedroia?
Yeah. That's a
thought process.
Yeah.
Thought process on that a little bit. I always think of Lou Merloni too. Lou Merloni also is kind of one of those guys who got sent up and down about 42 times. He actually joked about it yesterday on the radio show. It was pretty funny.
What about Nomar? Would you put Nomar into that category?
Absolutely, yes.
And another one that popped into mind was what about like Daniel Bard?
Yep.
Yeah, Daniel Bard, had some arm issues, I know, and was really never the same pitcher after that. So those are Bard and Garcia Parra both I think come to mind when you really sit down and think about it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure we're missing some out there, but those are the ones that I can think of. Do you think of anything else, or I'm trying to think. I actually have a list. Hold on just for a second. Wrote down a list. I had to take my headphones off or I'd be breaking my speakers. I actually wrote down a list. Nomar is definitely on that list. How about Ray Allen? Ray Allen leaving Boston to go to Miami, which he didn't have to do, but wanted to play for another championship.
Good point.
Yep.
Could that big three have won another title if he had stayed?
Yeah. Definitely. Dustin Pedroia is interesting. It's interesting how he was portrayed, and you probably have a lot of thought process in this too. How he was portrayed a long time ago versus how he's portrayed now. Trying to get back.
Ray, are we talking Ray Allen? Or are we talking?
No, Dustin
Dustin Pedroia,
yeah. Well, Ray Allen too. I mean, Ray Allen.
Well, Ray Allen, I feel like it just seems like he kind of burned a lot of bridges with the members of that, of those big three teams. KG, Rondo, Pierce. It really seems like his departure and
Barnett.
His departure really has rubbed them the wrong way and really caused some unfortunately some lingering hurt feelings there.
Friction.
Some little friction, a little little friction. Um,
Oh, you're definitely off the rails, dude.
what friction?
Yeah, I know what
Rubber
it is,
hands
dude.
creating
Thanks.
friction.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Another one I can
unbelievable.
think of is a 70s Red Sox player named Carlton Fisk.
Hmm. Yeah,
Carlton Fisk played 11 seasons with Boston, and then I'm not sure if I got this right. It's 11 and 12. I think he played 11 seasons with Boston, and then he played 12 years with Chicago. Are you kidding me?
yeah. The
Why
White
did he?
Sox. The
Why did
White
he
Sox.
go?
The
Why did
White
he go?
Sox.
Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. Is that not really a happy ending with him? Although he's he's great. Freddie Lynn is another one I think who unfortunately he got traded. And he was a great player. Why? And those are the kinds of things that
What about Johnny Damon?
yeah, yeah,
Damon
Johnny Damon, yeah,
Ellsbury, those guys, who signed
yeah,
with the evil empire.
oh yeah, yeah. So those are the ones I have written down.
Yeah, I think we've covered a good a good number of them. I mean, obviously, we could probably again spend the whole episode talking about sort of that category, because there's certainly a lot of guys that you could think of when it comes to all four of the teams.
Yeah, definitely. We could do a whole episode on it
Yeah,
too, someday down the road. But
yeah.
so at this point, I would like to. We're gonna start wrapping it up,
Well,
Robbie.
wait,
So
hold on. I'm sorry. Can I bring up one last sort of quick topic?
oh yeah, please do. Yeah, this was your topic that you brought up.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no,
We're not wrapping it up right.
no, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this, but um, the teams and the networks obviously have been looking to fill programming due to the lack of live sports at the moment. I think one of the things that I've really liked at both the pro and even at the college level is that they've been using their sort of media platforms, social media, TV, even radio in some instances, to bring back classic games from, as close as last year, as far back as, 30 years ago. And I think that's just a really cool thing while, we're waiting for live sports to come back to sort of be able to really really reminisce about, some of the great games that have happened for all of our favorite teams and all of our sports. They were showing all the '04 ALCS and World Series games. The last few weeks, the Celtics have done a lot of the classic. Get
Yeah,
all
the Celtics. It was the Larry Bird game where he scored. I think it was 60. I think one of the playoffs.
I
I
think
know they had the
they did
Michael
the
Jordan
Steel
game,
game. They
when
did
he
the
did
Steel game
60.
against Detroit as well
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at
They
one
had that too.
point.
And
Yeah.
on radio on WEEI, I think it wasn't last night. Last night, or the night before, they were doing the New England Patriots versus Atlanta, the Super Bowl.
Well, also, and the other one on the Sports Hub over the weekend, they did classic Bruins Canadians games,
Oh,
2011 playoffs, and some of the other
yes.
classic games from over the years between those two
Nesson's been running
teams.
those too. Yes.
Yeah. So
Actually, just saw. It's just Nesson just ran a game from the '70s. Actually, they had a
oh
game
wow.
that Bobby Orr was in. So, and all the Nifty and Middleton and all the old guys that played there too. So pretty cool. I love how
Yeah.
they're doing that because you
Yeah.
always like to see the old games.
Yeah. And it's been sort of across all the platforms too. I mean,
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook,
Nesson, cable,
Instagram,
radio,
all these
the
different
two
ones.
sports channels.
And even the pro sports leagues themselves have been really
Right.
dipping into the MLB, NBA, etc. Have been dipping into the archives and have been making the most of sort of the downtime when it comes to live sports at the moment. So,
Right.
and also, I mean, to bring this up, you can't forget ESPN, live broadcasting these Korean baseball games, even though I'm never able to watch them because they're on at
I was gonna say, aren't they like at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning?
4 o'clock in the morning. Our
I hear,
time.
you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing from people that are actually kind of catching them or recording them or doing whatever. I hear the games, the actual baseball is good, but I hear the commentating is horrible.
Yeah, it's tough because obviously, they're in their home studios, in in their bedrooms or offices or wherever, and sometimes there's some technical glitches. Sometimes their screen will go dark, and we'll be watching the game, and they won't be able to see what's going on. So,
And it's a hit. It's way back. It's way back. It's way
uh,
back. It looks like it's gone. It's foul.
uh,
It's foul. Sorry. It's foul.
but yeah, I just think that's very interesting how they've kind of have capitalized on that. So yeah, I like it as well. I like what they've been doing, sort of taking us back to these past games and stuff like that. So like I said, it's been very enjoyable. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And I love the fact that they're doing that too, just to keep us just to keep us like
Entertained.
entertained with some sports, even if it's a game from 2004 or even earlier. It doesn't really matter. I just love seeing the old games. I have some of them. I know you probably do. Some of the games are already on DVD, so I have some of that. But it's nice to see some of that stuff. I'm glad that they're doing it because it at least keeps some sports, like we're not just seeing nothing on these channels. Like Charlie Moore, I can't watch him fish anymore, so I have to watch a Bruins game every once in a while. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So it's one of those things where I just can't.
Charlie Moore outdoors, everybody.
Charlie Moore outdoors. Yes, I do like it when he has special guests, but I can't stand just like watching them fish. It's just like watching paint dry. It's pretty bad. But I do like the stories. Like the one of the best ones I saw was Wade Boggs, when he had Wade Boggs and he went on a fishing trip with Wade Boggs. It was awesome because Wade Boggs was just telling story after story after story. It was awesome. It was great. Fabulous. So at this point, Robbie, if we don't have any other thoughts, we do have our final thoughts for the evening. So I'll let you go first. What is your final thought for the evening? And hopefully it's not the same as mine.
I hope it's not the same as yours, because if yours
we didn't share this, so this is not something we shared. So.
No, if yours is trying to think of one on the fly here, literally, that we're in trouble.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I actually, as you were talking before, I was thinking real hard. I was about to go get my phone and try to find one, but I have one. It came to my head.
Okay, my final thought is this: plain and simple.
You don't even have
bring sports back. Bring sports back. I don't care at this point how you have to do it, because I'm literally. Yeah, help. I need to get out of this room. It's because I feel like I'm exhausted in the past episodes. And it's kind of funny how, a lot of times in the past, it's kind of funny how it took a pandemic for us to actually make this like an actual weekly show, when we were doing this for the longest time. So I felt like I had more material.
Wait a minute. That means it's a good thing the pandemic's around.
Yeah, but I feel like I had more time to develop I feel like I had more time to develop a final thought. Whereas a month and more material.
Dude, you have so much to think about during the day, and all you do is spend time under your desk, so you have enough time to think about a final thought.
Yeah,
and it's just a final thought. It's one thing, man.
I just gave you my final thought. Bring sports back now.
Bring sports back.
Yeah.
# Robbie's going out of his mind.
Anyway,
Whoa.
mind
Mind
blown up.
blowing, boy.
Mind blown up.
Mind blowing up, boy.
Yeah. Anyway, what is your final thought? Now that I definitely did take it, what is your final thought?
My final thought is that there was a report out, and I'm not even going to mention the guy because I think he's stupid. There was a report out that said 2 months after Mr. Brady decides to go to another place, there was a report out that said that he was having difficulty with McDaniels, the offensive coach. Are you kidding me now? Do we have to bring things up on purpose just so we can talk about Brady leaving? Okay, listen to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Watch my words. Watch my thing. Watch my lips. Brady is gone. End it. It's over. He's gone. Let it die. Let it go. Let it go. Can't let it go.
It's like the Frozen song. Let it go. All right, I'm not doing that. Yeah,
Alana, Robbie's singing Frozen again.
Let it go.
I don't know.
Let it go, man.
I just said let it go, and he's singing it. It's not good. It's not good. It's actually really bad. It's hurting my ears. My ears are bleeding.
Yeah, folks, you know, I think I need to cut out early tonight. Thanks. Have a good night.
He's out. He's out here. He's out. So anyway, it was really that. Oh, wait a minute. He's back. He's back.
Okay.
You all right?
Need to take a little walk. You know,
take a little walk around your room for a minute.
Maybe sing a little "Let It Go." Yeah. Seriously. No, people do need to let go. Brady is gone. He's not coming back. Just
I don't understand.
Over it. Get over it.
I don't understand why they keep bringing stuff up. Leave the guy alone. The guy is gone. He's not even in the state anymore. He's not here. And I don't think it's a report from here. I think it was a
He's
national
not breaking
report.
into houses in the state.
No. Just leave it be. Yeah. He's gone. Who cares about the relationship and the this and the that and the? It's just it's driving me to drink, people. It really is. It's driving me to drink. First of all, I'm throwing up in my mouth, and second of all, after I throw up, I need a little alcohol to take all the stuff out. So I think what I'm saying is that just leave it be. Leave it be. As Robbie says, what, Robbie? You say what?
As the Beatles would say, let it be.
Let it be. Oh, another reference. Another musical reference by the Robbie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we've successfully crushed the final thought. We are, this is it for this week.
Yeah.
It is the Sports Blitz. It's episode 39. We are on. We should tell the people where they can find us, Robbie. Tell us where.
Yes. So
we've different formats now.
You can find us on SoundCloud, obviously, where we've been the entire time. Yeah.
Audio, no video.
For the audio.
Yep, for the
go
audio.
to SoundCloud, search the Sports Blitz. We're on there. We are also on YouTube. Again, search Sports Blitz. We've been posting some of the video of our episodes on there. It's good stuff. You actually get
very
to see,
excited. It's very excited
to see us. You know.
Yes, it's very exciting because you should see our facial expressions and see how we're doing silly things that we. Hey, I saw that. We're doing silly things and doing some stuff that. What are you doing? Doing a chicken dance. What is going on? From Let It Go, Let It Be, and now Chicken Dance?
You said you should watch our motions. I figured I'd give people a little taste of what they can expect if they go on YouTube.
Turn the episode off right before the final thoughts. That's what I would suggest. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, anyway. The funny thing is that you say that now, people aren't going to know that until after the final thoughts. You're telling them to turn it off before the final thoughts.
Right, I should have said that. I should have said that at the beginning. Anyway, I didn't want them to do it anyway. So
Yeah,
anyway,
no, I know. Yeah.
but anyway, we are on SoundCloud and YouTube, and we both put it on Facebook too. So we
Yeah,
should be on Facebook.
yeah,
We're on Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah, we're on Facebook.
You have to experience the video, because the video is just awesome.
Yeah.
It's really great. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to plug Robbie's other show. Please watch On the Couch Talking Sports with him and Kyle. Kyle's
Thank you.
awesome. Kyle's awesome. He's fabulous. He's wonderful.
And there's quite a few episodes featuring my illustrious co-host, Doug.
That's right.
Actually, Doug has the honor and distinction of having the most number of guest appearances so far on a Couch Talking Sports. So if you watch nothing else, you need to watch an episode that involves Doug, because they are some of the best. Just, you think the show is out there and hilarious with content. It's phenomenal. It doesn't even hold water compared to our episodes on a Couch Talking Sports.
It's phenomenal. These guys are great. They've done over 200 episodes already, so they know what they're doing. And what's great is
I don't know about that, but I appreciate.
Well, they really don't. That's okay.
Yeah,
they've done a lot of episodes, but what it comes down to is we're going to invite Kyle onto our show too.
Yes.
Just so he can very soon, so we can have him experience what our show's all about, and God knows why we're going to do that.
Yeah, even though he really knows anything about sports,
maybe we'll surprise him, and we'll actually do a full episode of just of non-sports. This will be the Sports Blitz talking
sports movies.
Superman.
Sports movies. He's really well versed in sports movies.
Okay, so then we'll do that. That. That's not a problem. So anyway, this is episode number 39. Catch us on YouTube and Facebook and SoundCloud. It's
Twitter.
The Sports Blitz.
Twitter.
We're on Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter. We're on. We're gonna get on Instagram soon, guys. But as soon as Robbie's got that episode up, we're gonna get it out there.
Absolutely.
But I'm Doug, and you're
Robbie.
That's right. And this is the Sports Bliss. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.